YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and D Ford is the trade target we're talking about today. We do this video for trade targets, but mainly free agents. And we're going to change this one up a little bit since he's a trade target, and it's such an unusual one because he was a top player last year. We're going to do it a little different. We're going to discuss each team on the board and decide if they're worthy of being up here. We're going to come back to the teams we still have on the board. And I want to rip the Chiefs a new one here, just in a second, though. First, check out our Twitter and our Instagram. Links in the description. All right, I'm just ready for this ripping.
Go ahead.
All right, so the Chiefs. The only reason I was talking about this on Twitter too already, but the only reason they didn't have the absolute worst defense last year was because they had sacks. Who got the sacks? Who got the pressure? D Ford, Justin Houston, Chris Jones. 2 out of 3 of those guys are either being cut or traded, and they're switching their defense to a 4-3, so Chris Jones has to change positions. And it's just mind-blowing. To me, it's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Keep going.
Keep going?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all you have to do here. What they're doing is restarting and rebuilding, getting rid of your best players, the only players that kept you going. You know, you didn't get to where you were only because of Mahomes and the offense. Yeah, it was the best offense in the NFL. Yeah, Mahomes was the MVP. You didn't get there 100% because of them. You got there because guys like D Ford. D Ford was your best player. I don't care. You know, Chris Jones was great. Chris Jones was second. Houston was third. Houston forced a lot of fumbles. I mean, they're restarting. They're switching defenses, and they're restarting. How about get some defensive backs? Like, that's all you have to do. There's some in the draft. You have cap space to get a safety. It doesn't have to be Earl Thomas. You know, it's literally mind-blowing to me. So they're restarting.
It's crazy to me that they're restarting when their offense is so like primed. Like, you're right, they could just, I don't know.
They were just in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
I think they're overreacting about their defense costing them in the overtime game.
D Ford was lined up offsides.
I still don't think he was offsides.
Interesting.
Because that blue line that, you know, it's not really on the field. We see it only.
That's not on the field.
It wasn't correct. It wasn't correct where it was. Wasn't in the right spot. So he was over the blue line. The blue line wasn't. All right.
so Goodell did it.
Goodell did it, yes. Moving on. All right, so we're doing this a little differently. Let's start at the top. Work our way down. Well, should we take off the Chiefs? Well, yeah, this is a trade video. So if he got traded, he wouldn't be on the Chiefs. So we're not going to rule out. Maybe they can keep him. But this isn't your normal free agency video. This is
Trade video.
It's a trade video.
But if the Chiefs front office
Trading
sees
spaces.
This,
if they heard me, then maybe, yeah. Because they're pretty stupid, let me tell you.
All right, continue. Let's start with the Giants.
Start with the Giants. Is there a case to keep them on the board? Is there a case to take them off the board? I think.
Well, here let's discuss first before we do this. What are the Chiefs going to be wanting for D Ford?
Oh, that's a good point. The reports are they want a second rounder. To me, I
It's a little light.
It's a little light. But at the same time, some of these teams have early second rounders. Some of these teams don't have second rounders. We'll kind of get to those one by one there. But I guess it's a tough situation. And D Ford really only had one really good year, but it was a really good year. He's still young. Then you have the whole contract extension. I guess there's a lot that goes into it, but he's a good player. But I think it's going to be a second rounder. I'm thinking it's a second rounder, maybe a fifth makes sense.
What if it's just an early second rounder, like
for
example, the Cardinals?
Cardinals have the first pick, yeah.
That would be you might not have to. So maybe that's who they're targeting.
Possibly.
Dun dun dun.
But the Giants, I think he can fit in with the Giants. I think they're trying to trade or move on from Olivier Vernon as they should. I think he fits their defense. And then he would be opposite Lorenzo Carter for the future. That's a pretty good duo for the future. I think they would want, D Ford, maybe if there was a weakness to his game, it would be the run. It would be stopping the run. So I think the Giants would actually, since Lorenzo Carter's got a little ways to go. I like Lorenzo Carter a lot. Great future. But I think maybe they'll be looking for somebody a little better in the run game than D Ford to be safe if they were going to trade that early second round pick they have. So I kind of just made a case there to keep the Giants and to take them off. So what are your guys' thoughts here?
I think I would actually keep them on there because I don't know the structure we're doing. Are we going to put them on the side and just debate with our final teams? I think that's the way we should do it.
That sounds good.
So I would say keep the Giants because they have that early second round pick. They need the pass rush. You're right that they have some issues struggling. against the run, but I think it would be worth it. And, they can turn that organization around real quick, depending on what they do with Eli, of course. But I'd say keep them.
Yeah, I think there's a case just to at least keep them. They get through the first round. I think you got to keep them. They got a case. They have the ammunition, obviously. But I think they got to dump Vernon before they even look to explore this trade. They got to dump that contract.
His game was his season was bad last year. Yeah. That's my opinion. But
yeah, they got to dump him somehow.
The Lions. What about the Lions? What are you guys feeling here?
I don't like it, but I'm gonna let Danny go into that.
I think Patricia would want him.
Mm-hmm.
They have that hybrid style defense where they can line up with a bunch of different looks. He could fit in some of those hybrid schemes, but for the long term, they do run a 4. Do they run a 4-3? No, they run a 3-4, right?
No, it's a 4-3, but it's like a hybrid. It's
so I didn't know what
not
their
your
base
traditional.
was, but
their
still,
base is 4-3. Yeah.
Do they have the firepower to make that trade for a second-round pick, though? I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah, they traded some picks away during last year's draft. They do have a second-rounder this year. But, yeah, like you're saying, hybrid defense. They got Okwara standing up on the edge, and they're looking for like a Trey Flowers, I think, in free agency possibly. So a guy that can put his hand in the dirt opposite of Okwara, who they just gave an extension to. So
on the turf?
Right in the turf, yeah.
In the pellets.
So I think we're getting at the Lions could come off the board here. Maybe not the best fit compared to the other teams. What about the Steelers? The Steelers, they run a 3-4. Bud Dupree's okay, but
this would definitely be an upgrade.
With D4 with TJ Watt.
I like that.
Looking pretty good. They're gonna get some cap space open
And some
ammunition.
ammunition.
And with the picks,
I
already have a second round pick.
Keep them.
Keep them up there.
I'm already liking how that sounds.
Yeah. Keep them.
Keep them.
The Packers.
Ammunition.
They got ammunition.
They need them.
They definitely need them. They run a 3-4.
Get rid of them. No, I'm just kidding. I think we're going to have to keep them.
We're going to have to keep them for now?
Yeah.
What if they traded for Antonio Brown and D Ford?
I like it.
They have the ammunition.
They
can do that and still have a first-round pick.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absurd.
If they don't at least explore that option, I mean, unless one of the two teams is just holding a king's ransom and these rumors of what they're wanting, they can't fulfill. But if they're, if they don't, I don't know. Oh. If they don't go after them and offer that, they're idiots.
Well, here's the problem with that. Actually, what if first round teams just don't want to trade a first rounder from Antonio Brown? Like I said, I wouldn't trade a first rounder for him. Okay.
They already have a first round pick, so.
Yeah, but they're just going to give out first round pick when that's over the value. Well, I guess if they can get something back, but I don't think the Steelers
here's what I'm looking at. What do they need on offense more than anything?
Receiver, tight end, maybe another offensive lineman.
Okay, so let's just say receiver. What do they need on the defense?
Edge.
Can you guarantee me that one of those first round picks is going to pan out and help at the wide receiver position or at the edge position?
I can guarantee it.
So they already have two first round picks.
Pick.
They have two first round picks. They trade for one of them for Antonio Brown. They get him. Their offense is immediately better. They trade for D Ford for their second round pick. Their offense is immediately better, and they still also have another first round pick.
Yeah, my point is, what if teams are just like, they already decided, so we're not in the front office. We know, let's just say we know the Packers decided first round's too much for Antonio Brown. We won't do it. Then they only have one second rounder to use for either D Ford or Antonio Brown, so that way they can't get both. That was my point. But
if I have that option, I think I'm doing Antonio Brown.
I'm going D Ford.
I think Antonio Brown with Aaron Rodgers is a much better I think their biggest safe bet.
Their biggest lapse is their defense, though. They're going to need more defense.
Yeah, but that's a safer bet than D Ford coming off a year where he played out of his mind compared to his other years. This is what
I'm doing. Hypothetical here. This is turning into a Packers video, but let me get the Packers fans excited. I don't even like the Packers, and I would get excited for this. With their first round pick, take Brian Burns, the edge rusher from Florida State. With their second first round pick, let's just use a receiver. Instead of taking Antonio Brown, let's grab his cousin. Let's grab Marquise Brown. Maybe you can get A.J. Brown. Maybe you can get N'Keal Harry. Any of them, fantastic. Maybe it's Deebo Samuel. Any of those work out. And then you trade with your second-round pick. You trade D Ford. You have Brian Burns and D Ford on the edge. You have a young receiver that's going to pan out. Maybe won't be instantly impact.
But Rodgers would probably make him better from the get-go.
And he'll be good. To me, that If I'm a Packers fan, that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I don't know. Brian Burns and D Ford.
Would it make you feel a little bit more fuzzier if Antonio Brown and D Ford was on? I think it would make me a little bit fuzzier. I don't know.
Yeah, but
what if they got Antonio Brown and his cousin?
It works too. I don't know if they can get both.
Kind of like the White Sox just getting all of Machado's friends on their team, and then he just doesn't sign with them.
Yeah, but it's a trade.
True.
All right, so we're leaving the Packers up.
Leave him on the board.
The Rams. The Rams run a 3-4. They have pass rush, but that's from Aaron Donald pretty much only, and he's on the D line. They need pass rush from the outside linebacker position. They have Dante Fowler, but he's a free agent. They would like him back. He's getting some interest from some other teams. They would love D Ford, but they don't have a second-round pick. What do you guys think we do here?
I would take him off because they need something immediate to help propel them. I think both teams need something immediate. I think the Chiefs need something immediate to replace D Ford, and I think the Rams obviously need somebody. But if they don't have
taking them off,
if they don't have a second-round pick to give, the Chiefs wouldn't want a future second-round picks. I just don't think it's going to be a fit. It'd be sick if he was on the Rams though.
I think the fit is there. It's just like they don't have the means to do it.
Yeah, that's
the fit. Like
more or less
D Ford fitting that system would work, but just piggybacking off of you right there. Let's go to the Jets.
The Jets is another tough one because they need the same situation as the Rams. They need them. They also have the cap. They can sign them long term. They don't have a second-round pick. And on top of that, they're trying to gain more picks because they traded them away with last year's draft. So it's really tough. But D Ford, they would love to have him in there. Like it'd be perfect. So that's why it's tough. But
I think they would absolutely love him, and I think the fans would get excited. But I don't see a case where they would actually go after him. Mainly because they need those picks, and they're building a young core, and I just don't see them trading away future picks just to get.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But a Jets future pick could have more value than, say, like a Rams future pick.
Wait, do we bring him back up?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just trying to build a little bit of a case there.
Get him on here.
Yeah, get him on here.
Raiders. The Raiders.
They're doing it. Lock it in. Next.
What?
They're doing it?
The Raiders run more of a 4-3. Arden Key's kind of that guy that could be a stand-up guy if they wanted to. So I think they want a guy that could put his hand in the turf. Yeah. So I think they have the ammo to do it, but do they? Is he the best fit? Do they 100% know what they're getting if he maybe isn't the best fit?
You got the draft guru. I don't think you're gonna. I think that they have those 3 first-rounders on draft day. They're gonna have 3 first-rounders. I think you let Mayock work his magic.
Here's the thing, though. If they are going to trade a first or second round pick, I think it's going to be for Antonio Brown. I don't think they're going to trade for Antonio Brown and D Ford. That'd be pretty cool.
They can do that and still have like 2 first round picks.
And they could still be terrible.
And still be absolutely awful. That's insane.
I don't know. I don't think they. Man.
Picture this with me, Danny. Picture this with me.
Okay, convince me.
Okay. They trade. They trade a second rounder for D Ford. This is wild. They trade a second rounder for D Ford.
Right.
They trade a late first rounder for Antonio Brown.
Right.
Then they trade Carr.
Right.
Getting more ammunition. Bringing Kyler Murray, and they just got all kinds of things going on.
Well, that's all. If they're going to trade with the Cardinals,
this is a whole big what if scenario that's just not going to happen.
So the Cardinals are in this what if scenario.
They're taking a young QB.
Okay.
If Murray's on the board, they're taking a young QB that's there. That's a wild scenario.
It is a wild
that I would really like if I was a Raiders
Go ahead and take the Raiders.
Take the Raiders off the board because that was out there.
Yeah.
All right, we got the
pictures over here.
We got the Ravens here. It would fit. They run a 3-4. Suggs is going to be gone. Darius Smith's a free agent, but they would like Smith back. A lot of things make sense here, but they're going to try to get Darius Smith back. They need to sign Mosley back. Maybe they try to bring Suggs back. Rumors are they want to bring Tyrann Mathieu in. They have the cap, but it's at the same time it makes sense. He can replace some guys. He fits, but it's going to be hard for them to bring all those guys back and then go and do a trade in the same time. Not just bring all those guys back. Try to get some new guys too. And bring them in at the same time. So I got some reasons to keep them up there, reasons to take them off. I'm kind of leaning towards taking them off.
I'm leaning towards taking. I don't even think they have a second round pick, do they?
That's true, they don't.
So
take them off the board.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Their defense would be insane, but they have some other guys that they have to worry about first.
Speaking of a team that has some other guys they got to worry about first,
the Bears. The Bears. I mean, D Ford with Khalil Mack would be something else. I mean, he would fit.
I want to keep him up there so bad. but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Do they have the space? Do they have it?
Unless this is all. I mean, did we discuss that this is all hypothetical if he signs that franchise tag, or did he already do it at this point?
No, he would have to.
He would have to. Otherwise,
this video, we're assuming
it's a sign and trade.
Okay. So,
we're not guaranteeing nothing here.
If it's a sign and trade, the Bears are out. If he just goes to be a free agent, then the Bears would have a chance, but they would have to restructure a lot of different people deals.
They cut him.
They
would keep him.
Yeah, it would have to be the sign and trade. Take the Bears out. They don't have the ammunition.
Does it pay you to do that?
It does.
It would be just to think about it. It's good. It's fun.
First.
But yeah, let's take them off because of cap situations. Is there anybody they can trade to make room for this that's worth it? Probably not.
No.
I mean, you could
Leonard Floyd possibly.
Yeah, but his contract's not nothing.
He's a first round pick. It helps a little bit.
He's got he
always
has a contract year coming up.
Yeah, I don't think they really like Leonard Floyd.
Trey Burton. If somehow you can trade him, you're gonna have enough space. I don't think they can do it though.
Yeah, they really like Trey as well. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna touch too much of their core, unless they're restructuring people's deals. That's the only thing I can see.
All right. The Redskins. The Redskins run a 3-4. They have a second round pick.
They have a Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen plays on the line.
Just talking about I was just naming. That was the first guy I thought of on defense.
All right. He would play opposite of Ryan Kerrigan. That'd be pretty good. Pretty good.
They got a pretty nice defense coming together there.
The secondary is a little rough.
Minus the secondary.
It's a little on the rough side. The Redskins have $16 million in cap right now. That's where it's tough. We were talking about the Bears. The Bears only have $15 million. The Redskins are only $1 million ahead of them. Do they have guys that would they want to re-sign Clinton Dix? I think D Ford would be higher on the list to do maybe, but this is a tough one. About 50-50. What do we do here?
I think you got to get rid of them here. What's their pick situation?
They have a second round pick. But the question is, I mean, would they want to waste their second round pick with all the questions they have surrounding their team?
Yeah, they need a quarterback.
They need to build some young. Yeah, they need to build some young
receivers,
some young bucks.
I'm saying taking them off.
I'm saying taking them off because they need to build that team up.
Colts are up next. To me, the Colts have the cap space, and they'll be willing to try to use a guy like D4. They know he's good, but what I mean by try is, they run more of a 4-3. So, and the Chiefs are getting rid of him because they want to run a 4-3, which I still think is stupid by the Chiefs. But so for that reason, I'm kind of leaning towards taking the Colts off. They're really up here because they could use him. I think he can work in either defense, but it's not guaranteed because they run a 4-3. They have the cap space, but I'm kind of leaning towards taking them off because it's not the perfect fit compared to the other teams.
Let's lean with it.
We're leaning with it?
Leaning with it.
All right, the Colts are gone just like
Agreed.
that. The Niners also run a 4-3, but I've been saying they got a bunch of players that it feels like they should be running a 3-4, and they make it work. I know for a fact some of those guys either used to play 3-4 or can play better in a 3-4. They kind of make it work. Similar to the Lions defense, I guess you could say, a little bit of a hybrid. And the Niners have the cap space. I think if there was a team that was willing to take a chance on a guy like this, see if he fits, I think it'd be the Niners. But I think there's also better fits elsewhere here on the board. So it's another one that's like up in the air. What do you guys think?
This is tough, too, because the Niners could potentially be filling a pretty big edge need in the draft.
But they may be getting Nick Bosa.
Right.
If Kyler Murray's taken first.
Right. So imagine or even if he's, I don't know. I think even if Kyler Murray isn't taken first, I think they're still going edge. But
yeah,
I don't know. They can pair D Ford up with a nice young edge rusher, which I think would be sweet. I don't know. Their defense is just I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
It really depends. I mean, if the Chiefs think he can run a 4-3, would they? I'm trying to think of the Chiefs side of things. If they're going to trade the guy. They're going to trade the guy because they don't think he could play in a 4-3, so they're going to trade him. I guess they're going to get something back for it, but they're going to trade him to another 4-3 team when they probably don't think he can run a 4-3. That would be my concern. I would say take him off because of that. They can make it work because, like you said, they do have players that could run that 4-3-3-4 hybrid, but
they got some tweeners.
Is that what they call them?
I don't know. I've heard it before.
But again, a veteran guy changing changing teams and learning a whole new defense. You're going to even change the style up. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we're going to take him off here because, as it sounds, we're a little bit on the fence, and we already got a little excited about a couple other teams, so there's really no way we're picking him at this point. I'm pretty sure that's obvious, so we might as well take him off. But possibility, as you can tell. The Bucs. The Bucs, they're switching to a 3-4. Their really only pass rusher was Jason Pierre-Paul. The question with him is, which hasn't really been brought up yet, is can he run a 3-4? Like, what's he going to play? I'm sure they're trying him. But he's more, he's a bigger bodied pass rusher. D Ford's more of the speed rusher, so it'd make a lot of sense. And they have an early second round pick. The only problem with the Bucs is I believe they're a little rough in they have $9 million in cap space, which I thought I thought they were going to have a lot because I thought they were going to cut Deshaun Jackson, which we still think. I don't know if you guys do, but still think it's going to happen. But I thought they were going to cut Gerald McCoy. It sounded like they were. That was going to free up a lot of space, but now the Bucs are saying they're not cutting him. And they're supposed to try to get Le'Veon Bell and Tyrann Mathieu. So it doesn't really leave a lot of room for D4, but it would make a lot of sense. So another one that's kind of on the fence.
I'm going to say no.
Because of the cap situation?
The cap situation is very tricky. Obviously, if they cut McCoy, they can make some. If
they can afford it, and the fact that they're switching to 3-4, they're going to want a veteran guy that runs it to be able to teach the young.
Yeah.
That's Peter Paul's hands.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
The viewers can't see you, so I don't know what you're doing.
All right, take them off.
We're taking them off? All right. We got the Seahawks next. Another team that I think it's not as good of a fit as the other teams because they're more of a 4-3 team. Well, they are a 4-3 team, and I think he just fits elsewhere. So, I think we can take him off the board right now. But they have the cap space. Maybe they'll be willing to try it here. It's a possibility, but
I just don't know the direction that they're going in right now. Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think they're.
So I'd say they're probably going to want to get some.
Well, it's weird because they have Frank Clark back, and we know Frank Clark's proven he's a defensive end. And they drafted Rasheem Green last year, and he's supposed to play the opposite side. They're expecting him to turn it around this year. But to me, as a prospect, for my evaluation, he was either a 4-3 end or a 3-4 end. So he's really nowhere near what D Ford is. So it looks like the direction they want to go is not really where D Ford is. So I think we could take him off here.
Let's do it.
Titans. They run a 3-4. Arakpo retired. Derek Morgan's a free agent. They're not super high on him. They need somebody opposite of Harold Landry bad. And
what's the pick situation?
They have a second-round pick.
Oof.
And they could use a guy like D Ford. So all that sounds great. Here's the downside. Now maybe it's not a big downside. Maybe it's not what they're thinking of. Like I said, if D Ford had a weakness, it'd be the run game. He's more of a speed rusher. And their future on the opposite side, who they drafted last year, was Harold Landry. He's known as a guy that's mainly a pass rusher, a guy that needs to work on his run game. So do they want two outside linebackers that need to work on their run game? That's the question. But D4 would definitely help them. They had a lot of pressure last year, the Titans, but they didn't get a lot of sacks. They need sacks. D4 can help them with that. And their GM likes that. I believe he likes to trade a little bit. So
keep him.
I think you got to keep him up there.
Keep him?
Yep.
Okay, let's move them a little closer to these other guys. Now we got the Cardinals. Cardinals switching to a 3-4. They got Chandler Jones on one side. The other side, they don't really got anybody right now. It's either going to be Bosa, Josh Allen, or maybe a guy like D Ford, or maybe a free agent. Terrell Suggs has been linked to them. So it makes sense. They have the first. That's the downside, though. You could say it's a positive that they have the first overall pick in the second round. That's a good thing. They got the best offer right off the bat. And I think he's worth it. But the bad thing is, do they really want to trade the first overall pick in the second round? A team that's new coach, he wants to build his team. He probably wants to go offense. They need O-line. They need receivers. They're most likely to go Murray with the first overall pick. Maybe they go with the pass rusher. So then they'd be not interested in him. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't know. This is tricky because if they end up going Murray with the first with the first overall pick, they're going to be trading Rosen and gathering picks.
True.
So they could have the ammunition to do so while still growing and giving Kingsbury his picks to grow. I don't know. I would love to fit him and Chandler Jones, So for that reason, I'd keep him up there.
I'd keep
Ammunition.
him, but I'm going to take him off.
What does that mean?
The next one you're going to
Because it's so hypothetical. They have to. So there's been a lot of rumors. We're all leaning towards they're going to draft Kyler Murray and trade Rosen, but it's all hypotheticals. We don't know what they're going to get back from because we don't know exactly what Rosen's value will be when they do trade him. So for the video's sake, I would say take him out. I mean, it's up to you guys. That's my believer. Okay,
you're not.
What are you believing in?
Just some offseason.
That they're going to get a second-round pick for Rosen, or are they going to get another first-round? What are they going to get for Rosen?
I would love to know what the market is or the value on Josh Rosen.
I'm hearing third round only all of a sudden.
Which is not going to allow them to get D Ford if they get a third round, unless it's bulk, unless they're doing third round and a future third round again.
I don't know if I'm really buying the third round thing.
There's no way. There's no way.
Just the first round. I
don't think he's worth a first round pick. I would not trade a first round pick for him.
I think second round. Maybe.
I think second.
Even so, if they get a second round, then they have
upside.
it. But I still don't think they would trade the.
He's got a huge schnoz.
So here's the thing: I don't think they're going to trade the first pick in the second round. So they're going to get a later pick. Who would they potentially trade Rosen to, and what picks would they have?
Redskins.
Redskins do have a second rounder.
Yeah, so it'd be like a early to mid second round, 15th pick in the second round, roughly, give or take.
So I mean that could work, but is that enough to get D4? Would they have to throw in another fourth round pick on top of that second round pick?
Maybe a fifth, yeah.
So it's a lot of hypotheticals here.
I think they'd rather keep the first pick in the second round.
I would say take them off because it's a lot of hypotheticals.
Giants, Packers, Steelers, Titans. That's the final four here. Who will do it? So why they're left on the board? Because they all have a fit here. He fits all their defenses. He fills a need. Fills a need for sure for all four. And they all have second round picks to trade.
Go ahead and break them down one more time.
I got my pick.
I got my pick too, but I want to hear you break it down one more time.
I'm going to try to...
Give us the battle for all four of them.
Okay. The Giants, well, we already know they all need them. We already know they all have second-round picks. The Giants definitely need a guy to take Olivier Vernon's spot. Olivier Vernon needs to be cut first, which I think he will be. If not, I think he'll be traded. Maybe they keep him. So that's kind of a downside here because something needs to happen because they don't have a ton of cap space, which I can find out how much they have at the moment. They also need defensive back help. They need right side of the offensive line help. The Giants currently have $27 million, so that's pretty good.
That's without even cutting.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, so
wow.
they can make something happen here. But yeah, the downside that I brought up was they may be a little more interested in a guy that is a little better at stopping the run. Not to knock D Ford's game, but they want something. Lorenzo Carter on one side, he's still young, still developing. He can struggle in that category a little bit, so. Maybe they want somebody to complement him better, but D4 wasn't, he's not an elite player, but based off 2018 season, he was an elite player. So it makes sense there. The Steelers, they're going to have they're trading Antonio Brown. Everyone agree? He's not on the team anymore. Okay.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
So what's their cap space at? Before trading Antonio Brown, $16 million. So that's going to go up quite a bit.
They will have the firepower.
Yeah, they have the picks, yeah. They already have a second-round pick. Maybe they'll have another one. Maybe it'll be a first. I don't know. But so, yeah, they'll have that. The only downside, I would say, to the Steelers is that out of these four teams, if I had to pick one that needed them the least, it'd be the Steelers. Not that they don't need them, because Bud Dupree, he's pretty good. All these other teams would start Bud Dupree. But yeah, I think he's on his final year's contract, so you can view it as that. Steelers look pretty good. The Titans, kind of talked about Titans just a little bit ago here. I think he fits. They like to trade. They're not afraid to trade picks, especially for guys like this. Anything similar to the Giants. They could maybe want somebody that's a little better in the run game. And the Packers, and they need multiple edge rushers, and they have the ammo to do it. The only downside of this is if they do, we picked the Packers to trade for Antonio Brown. Now it's looking like the Raiders, but I'm still in my mind thinking the Packers. I think if the Packers trade for Antonio Brown, I don't think they do. The chances are dropped from this. Even though we would like to say they would do both, that would be good for them, we said. I think they don't do two trades. So if you in your head, you still think the Packers trade for Antonio Brown, maybe don't pick the Packers for this. So there's my case for all the teams.
I got my team.
I don't even know what my team is yet.
Junior, who do you got?
Why am I first? I don't want this is pressure.
I'll go ahead and take the Titans. Titans would be my team to pick. They need a lot of pass rush help, and a veteran to put on that defense would be loads of help to them. They have the ammunition. They're not afraid to trade their second-round pick for a guy that's going to instantly start and instantly help them. That's my case. I think they need something to get Tennessee excited about their team. They're struggling right now. I don't know what it is. I think it's their offense, but I think they also need a big help on defense.
I don't know. I like that fit, but how Riz over here is saying two
guys that need to just. They're not terrible in the run game, but they need to work on it a little bit.
That would kind of scare me. That would scare me. My pick would have to honestly be the Steelers. I think like they're going to be gathering up the ammunition where they can take a swing at this, and I don't know. Him and T.J. Watt, I think it would be a sweet little duo for the future.
This is tough for me because the team that makes the most sense for me right away, instantly, is the Green Bay Packers. But I kind of still have a feeling they may trade for Antonio Brown. I don't think both's going to happen. So,
got to choose one of the other.
Wait, before you go here, the Packers were very heavy and very close to signing or trading for Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Last offseason.
D Ford's not Khalil Mack, but
same position. Fills a big need that they need
I'm pretty sure anybody that was looking for a pass rusher probably made a call about Khalil Mack, though.
Right, but they were close to. I think Packers, Bears, and
I'm starting to think the Raiders are the team that lands Antonio Brown. I think we're off on our original pick, and I like the Packers for D Ford, but
3.
We're torn here. If I had to choose one of the other two, I'd say the Titans just because the Steelers might.
I think they're more desperate.
Well, yeah, the Steelers might be okay with Bud Dupree. He had a solid year last year. He's not bad in any way, but they're going to have to re-sign him next year, and they could be on board with him. So I think the Packers are my first choice. The Titans are my next. Maybe, then Steelers, then Giants probably. I think all four are legit right there. I took the Giants off, though, because none of us picked them. But, yeah. I'd be surprised. Honestly, I'd be surprised if it wasn't one of these three teams. Maybe throw the Giants in. If it wasn't one of those four teams, I'd kind of be surprised.
Yeah.
I thought the Rams were a solid option too, possibly. A lot needs to happen.
It all depends on what the Chiefs are going to be
the Rams don't have the second round pick.
So I mean, that's if they're going to want a draft pick now, or they're going to want a draft pick in the future. I mean, then you can consider the Rams. But
another team that's just I don't know what to do with them for a lot of these videos is the Bengals because they run a 4-3. They brought in the Giants. They could not figure out who their defense coordinator was going to be. They couldn't get anybody to be their defense coordinator. They got the Giants defensive back coach. So I don't know what they're going to run. Like I know the Bucs are switching to a 3-4 because they got Todd Bowles. That's how I know this stuff, And I don't know what the Bengals are going to run. So the Bengals have some cap space. They have some needs. So maybe they're a player in a lot of. We haven't really brought the Bengals up in a lot of our videos. Maybe they can be a player in acquiring free agents or trade targets. So that's just a team I wanted to mention. But yeah, I think that's going to do it.
Congratulations, Pete.
Pete, I wish we had Pigskin here to talk about this one.
You think he would want him?
Oh, I think you would like him.
You would definitely want him.
I think he would be on my point though about he'd be a little scared about the run defense, but they have good enough middle line. They're stacked at middle linebacker.
Well, here's the thing: not every player can get to the quarterback. We see that, but every player, every so often, will stop a run. It's a body at the end of the day. You know the term when you have a body in the lane. You have a body in the lane. It's gonna help it'll definitely benefit them.
All right, I'll tell you what. If it's the Packers need multiple guys, so if it's T.J. Watt and D Ford or Harold Landry and D Ford, that would be scary.
Both
either
are
one of those.
Good young duos that could be for the future.
Yeah, either one. So, but even though my pick was the Packers, I don't think the Packers. The Packers look at it like we need this. We need pass rush. So it's something they got to do too, because I like the pass rushers in the draft. The ones at the top are really, really good, like really good. But as soon as you get towards the end of the second rounds, they start to go. They start to disappear. So I think if it's really a second round pick, I think you got to jump all over this if you're a team that needs it. But yeah, we'll see. It's an interesting. I think we're talking about here if he gets traded. So I think it's realistic he can stay on the Chiefs. I think that's also realistic. I'm saying if he gets traded, these are the teams, is really what this video is about. So we're clear. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Our subscriber goal is at 20K. Please help us get there. We got plenty of NFL content, free agency, draft, in-season, predictions, power rankings, all kinds of stuff here. Click that like button, click the notification bell. All much appreciated. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for everyone's support. Thanks for watching.
Gadoosh.
Gadoosh.